In today's video, we're gonna discuss why Nikon Z50 is still a great option to buy in 2024 and beyond. If you are new to my channel, consider subscribing it. This camera was launched in 2019, so it is almost 5-year old. But despite being a 5-year old camera, the kind of image quality that you can get from this camera is actually awesome. The sensor in this camera is a 21 megapixel sensor and it's a BSI CMOS sensor, so that gives you very good low light performance. Usually the backside illuminated sensors have better low light performance. The ISO range on the camera goes from 100 up to 51,200 and you can expand that 4 times as well. However, I will not recommend you to go to the extreme limits. If you are using this camera till 3200 or 6400 ISO, you're gonna get really very good and pleasing images with hardly any noise. The autofocus of the camera is actually really good, both in the photos and in the video. I'm gonna put onto your screen one of the sample videos to test the autofocus of this camera, and trust me, it works perfect both in the photos and in the videos as well. So let's see how the autofocus of camera works while it is trying to track your face. So I'm gonna move a little bit back and my face is still in focus, although I'm quite far away from the camera. Now I'm going closer to the camera and my face is still in focus. Now I'm gonna go out of the frame and now I'm gonna come back in front of the camera and it has grabbed focus back on my face. So overall the camera works quite good in tracking your face.
This is the kind of video quality that you can get with this camera. Look at the video. It looks tag sharp, the background is nicely blurred out and the colors are very rich and vibrant. If you look at this footage, these flowers are in focus and the background is also totally blurred out.
There are 209 autofocus points from corner to corner, so it will track your subject very easily. It also has eye autofocus, so that means it is perfect for portrait photography. You will get really tag sharp images. And since this is an APS-C camera, so you will have 1.5 times crop factor. In the continuous shooting mode, you can get up to 11 frames per second. So 11 images in 1 second, which is really good. So you can use this camera for some sports event, like your kids is participating in his or her school, or maybe you want to do some bird photography, so definitely you can use it. However, it is not a sports or action camera. If you want to shoot extreme sports and action, maybe you should go for Nikon Z8 or Z9. And since this is a mirrorless camera, it has a really nice EVF. So you have a 2.36 million dot EVF at the back, and the EVF is actually really nice. When you are looking through the EVF, the images look very sharp and the refresh rate is also pretty fast, so you will see almost everything live without any kind of a delay. The screen at the back is a 3.2 inch and it's a tilting screen, so that might be a problem if you want to shoot video because the screen flips downwards. So if you have this camera mounted on a tripod, it can be a problem for you. However, there are some solutions available, like you can get this L bracket. So L bracket will actually put your tripod screw over here and then you will be able to see this screen. Also, you can use SnapBridge app as well because this camera has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi both, so you can pair this camera with your smartphone and then you can see whatever your camera is seeing on your mobile phone screen. You can start and stop the recording, you can change all your settings from your phone. Beside that, there is also a third solution which I personally like the most. You can get selfie vlogging mirror. So that mirror will actually hook onto your hot shoe, and whatever you are seeing in your screen, it will be reflected onto that mirror, and then you will be able to see whatever is on your screen in that mirror. Now when I talk about the video, this camera is actually very good when it comes to video. This camera can shoot 4K video up to 30 frames per second and there is no crop factor in 4K video, and also the autofocus works perfect in video. However, there is one drawback. There is a record limit of 30 minutes. So if you want to shoot long videos of 1 hour or 2 hours, then you have to start a new recording after 30 minutes. This camera does not have anti-aliasing filter in front of the sensor, so that means you will get very sharp images and videos, because having this anti-aliasing filter, although it reduces the moire effect, but it also reduces the sharpness in photos and videos. The weight of the camera is around 397 grams and this camera has a really nice grip. The ergonomics on the camera is actually very good. You also have a front dial to control your aperture, and you also have a dial at the back to control your shutter speed. Beside that, you also have FN1 and FN2 buttons as well, which you can assign to any function. The body of the camera is actually weather sealed, so you can use it in harsh weather like in some kind of a light rain or if you are at a beach. The dynamic range of the camera is actually very good. It's more than 14 stops of EV, so you can use this camera for landscape photography as well. Beside that, this camera has focus stacking. It also has exposure bracketing. You can also do time-lapse videos with this. It has all the features that you would expect from a latest mirrorless camera. Image quality of the camera is actually excellent. I have already put some of the sample images that I've taken with this camera. Most of the photos that I've taken have been with the kit lens, and the kit lens that comes with this camera is actually a very good one. You have a 16-50 f3.5 to f6.3 kit lens, and the images are very sharp. It is actually very surprising because if you compare the kit lens of this camera with the one from Sony and Nikon, this is, I would say, the best kit lens among all these three brands if you exclude Fujifilm. The kind of images that you get with this, there is very good sharpness, and the images actually look like that they have been taken with a very expensive lens. Some of the images I took have been with the 50 to 250 mm kit lens, so that is a very good kit lens as well. If you want extra reach, you can use that lens for portrait photography as well. At 250 you will get very good background blur as well, and if you want to do some candid photography, if you want to do some bird photography or sports photography, not at a very professional level, you can use that lens as well. Beside that, my third most favorite lens among the Nikon lineup is the 40 mm f2 Nikon Z lens, and that one is actually a full frame lens. So some of the photos I have taken have been with that lens, and the photos look excellent with that one. So that lens is actually very good if you want to use it in low lighting situation, because the aperture of the lens goes up to f2. Now let's talk about some of the cons of this camera. One of the cons is that this camera has only one card slot. So if you are a wedding photographer, I do not recommend this camera. Go for something with dual card slot. Second drawback is that the SD card of this camera actually goes inside this battery door, which is a bit annoying. If you have the camera on the tripod, you will have to take out the camera from tripod and then access the memory card. The third drawback in my opinion is this screen. I have already discussed that one. And the fourth drawback in my opinion is that you cannot give continuous power to this camera while your video recording is on. If you compare this with Nikon Z50 and Z30, those two cameras have USB-C port and you can give continuous power to the camera. So if you want to do really long streaming, let's say you want to stream for 2 hours or let's say 3 hours, so those camera is a better choice. You can continuously power the camera through your USB-C adapter and keep on live streaming, but in this camera you will run out of battery. This camera have micro USB port, the older one, which does not give continuous power. If Nikon had put USB-C power into this one, it would have been a better choice in my opinion. This camera also have a pop-on flash over here, so this can be handy if you are in a situation where there is not enough light and you are not carrying an external flash. Now let's talk about the price of the camera. So this camera is available right now for roughly around $900 along with the kit lens. So the final question, should you get this camera in 2024? Definitely you can get this camera in 2024. If you compare this camera with Nikon Z50 and Z30, they have exactly the same sensor. So the image and video quality that you will get from those two cameras will be exactly the same. If you look at the competitors, so there is Canon R50, Sony a6100 that is more capable for photography. I would go for Nikon Z50. However, if you are looking for a camera that is more content creator friendly, then maybe Canon R50 is a better choice because that camera has a sideways flip out screen. However, the kit lens that you get with that one is not as good as the one that you get with Nikon. So the choice is yours. If I am primarily a photographer and I want a camera with really good image quality, I would go for Nikon Z50. Also, this camera is very capable when it comes to video as well. The only drawback is that it has the 30-minute record limit. Canon R50 do not have any record limit. So if you are a content creator, maybe you can go for Canon R50. If you are a photographer, you can go for Nikon Z50. So even though it is 5-year-old, definitely you can get this camera even now. If you buy this camera used, you can get it even at a very cheaper price. Maybe around $600 you can get this camera used.